beautiful artists. Today I am going to be painting this fun willow tree. Out here where I live, they are pretty prevalent in our parks and some of the places I hike in. And here is a picture of one. Hopefully you can see that and there isn't too much of a glare on there. They're gorgeous. They're called like a weeping willow. And the way we're going to paint it, or I'm going to paint it, is with dry brush. So these are the colors I think I'm going to use. I'm using my MeiLang palette, which you know I love. If you have Winsor Newtons, whatever you have, I'm sure that's fine. These are under $20 for the most part, and they're a great student palette. I'm going to be using, let's see here, that is the yellow green. Let me just mark that on here for reference. So this is the yellow green. I'm going to use a tree green, maybe even combine the two. And then this is like a hooker's green. If you have a hooker's green, that's perfect for some of the colors, you know, underneath, kind of shadowed. And then a yellow ochre. I was thinking about a cad yellow, but I think that's going to be too bright. So I'll probably go with a warmer yellow ochre. This is sienna or a burnt sienna. And then the Van Dyke brown for the tree trunk. So those will be the colors I believe I'm going to go ahead and use. And that is the MeiLang palette. Okay. Let's go ahead and get started. I've got my Artisto paper. You know, I love that paper. And I'm going to use these. This is my brush set. I don't know if there's any left at this point, but it was a set of 5. And these are my 2 rounds, which I love. This one's a little bit bigger, so I'm not sure which one I will use. And then I've got my small round, which will be perfect for the trunk and maybe some of the little branches in here. I can get a little finer point in. So that's what we're going to be painting. I'm going to go ahead and mix some of my colors in my palette here so they're ready to go, because I do want to go a little bit wet on wet. So here is my light green. Let's just put that in here. And I'm going to be working, like I said, with a dry brush. So I'll be picking up that paint, tapping to get rid of as much as I can, and then using it on its side for that dry brush effect. Then I've got my tree green here, which is kind of what's in here. It looks like I have a little hooker's green in there too. There we go. Then maybe put some of that hooker's green right over here. There we go. You could even use a nice olive green. Olive green used to be definitely one of my go-tos. It's a little bit darker, deeper. This is a little bit more vibrant. So I'll put that in there just in case. And then I'm going to get my yellow ochre here. Get that ready. I want to have all these ready. So once I start painting, it's just in my palette ready to go. This is a Meeden palette, by the way. Bought this quite a while ago. I'll look for my link. I'll put all my links in the description below. And let's see, our browns. Okay, so I'm going to go with kind of a lighter brown. And then our Van Dyke brown. Yeah, that'll be better for some of the darker. I have a little bit of darker. I kept this pretty simple. There we go. Might even add just the tiniest bit of Prussian blue or black just to give it that shadowy color. All right, so I've got my colors in my palette here. And isn't that a cool little palette? I like the big palettes sometimes when I'm doing a larger painting, but I do really like these that I can just kind of hold in my hand. They're kind of handy. I know you guys have been asking me a lot about my palettes and I forget to list them, but I'll try and remember to list these in the description below. Typically they're on Amazon. Although I will tell you, if you live outside the US, you can go direct to Meeden. Just use my discount code and shipping is free. All right, let's go ahead and start. I'm going to start with my lightest color, of course, because we can always build layers and get darker. So I'm picking up, and I'm using my small 8, actually this is the 8 long round. You want to make sure you don't, by the way, load your paint into the ferrule because you'll ruin your brushes. And just really going to tap off because I don't want this too watery because it is a dry brush. And actually I might end up, I'm going to try this first and then I might go to my bigger brush because this isn't going to hold a whole lot. All right, so let's go in here. Make sure, okay. And I'm going to hold my brush horizontal because I want to get that belly of my brush. So let's just start. So as you can see, holding it on its side and using it a little bit drier, meaning I don't have a ton of water in there. It's skimming across the top where it's picking up that surface, that rough surface. This is cold press, by the way. If this actually, if you know you're going to be doing a landscape or you want some of that texture, rough paper is really great. And then let's just put a little clump here. There we go. So again, you're using this quite dry. Now I'm going to go in with a little bit darker color. This is the tree green. And use that. You really want to hold this horizontal because if I was to go in this way, I'm not going to quite get that dry brush effect. There we go. And I'm also leaving white space in there, notice. And then let's just try either that olive green or you can use that hooker's green or maybe mix them both. And if you feel like you have a little too much water, just tap it off. And then I'm going to go in to just, okay, so see that was too much. I want to skim off some of that because I want that dry brush effect. And I want the darker colors to be on the underneaths of this tree. It could even be a little bit darker there. So I just keep going. Maybe even a tiny bit darker. Like that. Isn't that great? So much fun. And these trees, they really hang down. They're so pretty. Okay. Now I'm going to go in with that brown. And let's see, I could even use my angle brush. There we go. So here's the angle brush. And the reason I like this brush, I can get a fine point with this one as well. But this one really has a great chisel tip there. So I'm going to pick up some of that brown. And I'm just going to go in and lay down the base of the tree here. There we go. So I really kind of came down too far with the tree, with the green, but that's okay. And then I'll start adding in here and there some of these. I want to just, there we go. Add in some more of those branches. maybe some darker brown. So I'm just adding a little bit of black to that brown. These trees are so beautiful. They almost look magical. So since my shadow's on that side, I kind of extended that shadow over there. Maybe just use the tip of this brush to kind of hide some branches in here. I mean, that's really all I have to do. You don't even really see a lot of the branches in this tree because that greenery really hangs down and kind of hides it. I do want to make this just a little bit lighter, and what I could even do here, is I've got a dry brush. So this is my brush and it was wet, but I tapped it off on my paper towel, and I can pick up that side so it kind of looks like that sun is shining on that side, and then maybe just go in and darken the other side like that. And these branches I would assume are going to be a lot darker because they're kind of hidden up in there. To be honest, like I said, you really don't see a lot of the branches in this tree because it all kind of hangs. So there you go. I think I'm pretty much done. Let's pick up just a little bit more of that light green, maybe mix it in with some of that yellow. Let's just mix all of that and get kind of that light green color. And then I'm going to go in here and go over that, holding my brush on its side and adding in just a little bit more here. Again, I love working in layers. And the dry brush is kind of cool because it will really naturally leave a lot of those white spaces. So there you go. Let me grab one more thing I'm going to do over here. 1 second. I might be able to use my palette knife. Let's see if that works. I'm going to add a tiny bit. I feel like this isn't quite as dark as I would like it. And then I'm going to use my palette knife and kind of pull it over like that. Yeah, I kind of like that. There you go. All right, well, I hope you had fun with that. I mean, if you really wanted to add something, an extra little touch, you know me, I love my metallics. I could add just a tiny bit of the gold series. Let's see how the gold series, if I can do a dry brush with that. I'm not sure, I've never tried that. Because it might be fun to add to the top of the trees. You know me, I'm all about the fun, guys. Let's see if that works. Again, I don't know. This may be a fail, but you know what? We learn. And I've got that pretty wet. And let's just go over and kind of create like a sparkle from the sun. Ooh, that's kind of pretty. Oh yeah, that is exactly what I was envisioning. So, you know what? This works. Ooh, yeah. I mean, you know what's funny? I use these sparkle metallics and things a lot, but I'm telling you, this is the way I see things in my mind. Like I picture them shimmering and shining. Like that's how I see my world. I know, I'm kind of wacky. And especially at the top here, I think that's really pretty. Like the sun's kind of shining on top. Look at that, you guys. So any metallics you have, but I really do like these MAB metallics. I've been using them for about a year. Oh my gosh, I love that. Perfect, that's exactly what I wanted. So let me just hold that up. You can take a look at that. Isn't that fun? Isn't that pretty? We could even, okay, see, I thought I was done. And sometimes, you know, if you're ever not sure, just walk away. Just leave your paint and walk away. But I feel like I could get a little bit darker with a few areas. So I'm just going to grab that olive green, and I might even add some brown to it, because I feel like I want a little bit more contrast. There we go. Now I don't want to go too crazy with that. I'm going to tap my brush off, make sure I don't have too much. Use underneath. Now again, I'm playing here. This is what I encourage you to do. Just play. If it doesn't work out, it's a piece of paper. But let's see what that, let me test it first. I always have these little scrap papers around so I can test my paint. So let's use the back of that one. Oop, and see what color we've got here. Okay, I feel like it needs a little bit more green. So let's just add in a little bit of green to that. Ooh, yeah, that's kind of more the color I was going for, which is basically like an olivey green. Yep, perfect. So see, play. Like I said, it's a piece of paper. So what, right? And that's why I like using Artisto pads a lot and things like that, because I'm not painting, you know, on my arches. Ooh, look at that, you guys. Oh my gosh. Like, what a difference. It really creates that shadowy feeling kind of underneath. Oh my gosh, see? That is why when you kind of get an intuition about something, like, go for it. And at the same time, sometimes you really do have to walk away if you're kind of not sure and you feel like something's telling you, like, oh, I think I need to walk away here. I think I'm getting a little too much. Then that's what you do. But look at that, what a difference. That contrast of the gold I put, or that light yellow green at the tops where the sun is really hitting it. And then just a touch of that olive green, which I took my olive green and then I just mixed a tiny bit of my brown with it. And look at that. All right, I am done. Have fun with this. I hope you'll give it a try. I love these trees. If you've got these in your yards, they are beautiful. And I added that wonderful MAB Gold Series. I'm about out of a few of them, so I'll have to order some more of that. And I'll link all of these in the description below. So give that a try. Thanks, everyone. Happy painting most of all.